Hello, my Soulpreneur life family and friends. Today I want to talk about communicating soul to soul. I have had the honor of just these lovely conversations where people share that they really want to be able to embody who they are and talk soul to soul, heart to heart to their people, to their family, to their clients. And so I want to dive a little bit into that today. And as I talk and as I share and all the things, I want for you to either think about or write down. I think it would be good to write down and get it out of your body, get it out of your mind and into the energy field. Even speak it into your voice notes after you are done listening to this podcast. But what are your core fundamental beliefs? Like your actual beliefs. Not the ones that your mom and your dad said that you should have, not the ones that your church or your religion said you should have, but the ones that you actually have. And think about, do you actually embody them? Are you showing up every single day, or most of the time, embodying these core fundamental beliefs and values? How do you show up in them? Are you that walking example in your own life, in your own business? Okay, so really building upon that, that's how you build trust, right? It's getting clear, becoming really clear on your core self and your soul language. That's how you build upon growing anything. Then you can shift into the practice of touching others' hearts and souls with your own creations, with your words, with your stories, and how you share those stories. That's where the magic really happens. Your ability to really dive deeper into that. Your ability to shift from speaking mind to mind, or soul to mind, or heart to mind, or heart to heart, to soul. Really heavily relying on your ability to be aware of yourself and your intuitive or natural gift to connect with your audience. And it's not about selling, right? Like it's not you're selling. You're coming from this place of your selling mind, trying to touch their heart, trying to touch their soul. You're not coming from a place of some sort of programming to talk to their heart or your desire, like I want their money. I want them to buy this from me. I want them to do this for me and try to talk to their soul. It's really getting down to the nitty gritty, value-based, person-first type thinking and feeling and connection, because you can empathize. You can put yourself in their shoes and understand what things they may be going through, what they may be experiencing, what they may be fearing. Really allowing yourself to get vulnerable first. LMI has that song Naked, right? And it talks about in the lyrics, I'm a lyrics girl. Like I love the beats and stuff like that, but I really love the poetry of music, which is the words, the lyricism, the lyrics, all of that. And in that song Naked by LMI, she goes talking about, would you, if she was naked, could you love her? And it's not just talking about her body, but it's like her soul, her mind, her thoughts, who she is. If she stripped away everything, could that person still love her naked, right? And I think that the beauty in that is really allowing ourselves to say, I am going to step forward first and be brave and be vulnerable and create this space where you could either join me or not. But I'm not going to let you not joining me destroy me or lessen my confidence, right? So when you understand your truth and your values on more than just that mental plane, but the embodiment of them in your own life, they can't help but be a part of what you do. When you can lean in for someone else to really share, allowing them to share, right? Just something so truthful happens, so authentic happens. And I personally, I believe in a few things. I'm going to share this with you right now, and you can think about kind of what this would be for you. I believe in radical honesty and transparency to foster clear communication and trust, to breed a beautiful relationship or partnership in the future. For me, I would rather you be honest and truthful than to sugarcoat something and then possibly have me feeling foolish on the back end because I was on one wavelength thinking you were there and then it was really something else, right? I believe in people first, and this is a practice for me. Like this is something I attempt to practice every single day of my life, is to put people first, to remember that no matter what it is I am talking about, sharing, selling, creating within my business, a person is attached to the transformation, a person that other people depend on and love and care about. If they're paying me, there is a family connected to that dollar. So my duty is to fulfill whatever it is that I said I was going to deliver, because their transformation, of course, there's a partnership there. They have to show up. They have to do all of the things. But for me to understand that they are a person and a human with needs and things that come up, it's important to me. Okay, so, and I believe in basic human rights for everybody, not just some, not just a few, but everyone. Basic human rights. And I know with the way that the climate in the world is right now and with what's going on overseas in Palestine, I need to say that, because human rights are like the basic fundamental human rights are something that I believe in for everyone. I also believe in, I believe, and I try to my best to embody these. I talk about them, and I talk about them openly and vulnerably as often as I can, often making waves and ruffling feathers, especially in the communities of coaching or spirituality or just being in the online space. Because while I continue to be a student of life for life, I don't believe in hiding my values. I feel like that's a little bit of manipulation. So I don't believe in hiding my values, especially online or in a space where I want to be accepted or a part of a community. Or I don't try to position myself in a way where I can claim more money from someone if they think I could be like them in some way. Like if I, there's these spaces where in the spiritual community, it's almost like politics gets brought into it. And it's like, if I'm more conservative, I could have these people's money. Or if I'm more leaning towards conspiracy theories, I can have more money from these people. And I think that that's manipulative and not good at all. So that's not people first, right? So I just feel the need to say that too, because that's part of, that's part of my core fundamental beliefs in how I take care of people and how I don't want to do harm. I never want to do harm, especially intentionally, right? So allowing those things to be transparent works for me, even though it ruffles feathers and it causes waves and it gets me blocked from people. And there's been controversy on my page before in the past because I've been very open about Roe v. Wade and just all of these other things, because again, human rights, they matter. Choice matters. Healthcare matters. So if you're still here with me, I want for you to really take this, what I'm saying, kind of dilute it and figure out how you can do this for yourself, how you can get really clear on it, what your core values are and how you're embodying them. Give yourself examples, just like I've shared in the past. If mantras and affirmations are challenging for you, give yourself evidence. If you say, I am brave because, and give yourself an example. I jumped out of an airplane, right? I was afraid, but I was brave and I did it. And start reprogramming your mind. Say it out loud so your ears hear it, your brain can digest it, and your body can say, oh, okay, well, there is truth to that, and can start showing up differently, right? If it works for affirmations and mantras, it can work with you getting really clear about your core fundamental beliefs and how you embody them. And you can make edits to that. So if you don't like how you're showing up with your core beliefs right now, change it. Do it step by step, day by day. It doesn't have to be completely done in like one whole day, right? Like it takes time. You're probably in your 20s or 30s or 40s, however old you are. Like you have spent your entire lifetime programming yourself to be and believe and show up in the ways that you are presently. So it's going to take time to undo, and that's okay. Now, how much time it takes is up to you. Be dedicated, be consistent. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Don't dwell in it, right? And keep it moving. I want to continue on because I do have some things that I want to talk, but it's so valuable to allow yourself to make mistakes, because then you don't cripple yourself to being on that hamster wheel, right? You don't stop yourself and just put yourself on a hamster wheel of going through that cycle of the mistakes that you've made, as opposed to, you know what, I did make that mistake. I didn't like the way it felt. I allow myself to, learn from it, move forward, move on, and I'm on to the next thing. Give yourself that permission. Give yourself permission. Call me a broken record if you will, because I've said it a bazillion times, but give yourself permission. It's so important. No one else can give you permission before you give yourself permission. So, all of that. I'm not a safe space for people who are hateful. I'm not a safe space for people who are exclusive in their sort of leadership or their life, right? I believe in allowing people to be loved, to be bad, to be great, to be who they want to be who they came here to be. And sometimes that takes some space to figure it out. And I try to give that space because I understand that it took me time to figure it out. So they can be great one day, maybe not today, but that's okay. I believe in sharing and leading often with humans, compassion and love. And for me, this started many years ago, and I'm just going to use this as an example. I remember being in line for Starbucks before I was going on base. I was on active duty in the Army, and I was grabbing Starbucks before I went back to work because we had a late call. Instead of coming in for like 5:30, 6 o'clock formation, whatever. I think we got to come in at like 8. So I was in line and I was getting Starbucks, and I got to the window and the girl was just unkind. She was so unkind, and something in my heart just shifted, because at that stage of my life, I was still pretty reactive. And like, why are you looking at me like that? Do you have something to say? Things of that nature. But my heart, like as I'm saying this, I can feel it in my chest again. My heart just kind of like burst open, and I looked at her. She handed me my drink, and I was handing her the gift card, not the Starbucks card thing that they had. I was handing it to her, and I just kind of paused and I looked at her, and she was like, there was so much emotion and stress and sadness on her face. And I just looked at her and I smiled, and I was aggravated because of how she treated me. But because my heart, like I felt it, I knew I had to pause. And I just looked at her and I said, "How are you?" And I paused before actually handing her the card, just for a slight second to let her see that I was looking at her. Because she was looking at my hands, she was looking at the register, she was doing all the things. And she just paused and she looked at me, and her stress kind of broke for a moment, and her eyes kind of watered, and she was like, "I'm having a really hard morning." And I just took a moment to talk to her for just a brief second. And she said, "Thank you." And by the end of that interaction, it changed her day, but it also changed me, right? And I didn't get it perfect every single time after that, but I'm sharing this moment because I was aware in that moment that I had an opportunity to change both myself and a situation for someone else. So now when I engage with people and I find myself shifting into irritation or frustration or any of the uncomfortable feelings and emotions and thoughts, I try to pause, take a breath, and I ask myself a few questions, or I take what I'm observing from the situation and the environment. Sometimes it's like, wow, this person really must be going through something to be responding this way. Or, wow, this person is really bothering me. Why is this person bothering me? What am I going through? Am I overstimulated? Am I XYZ? And allowing myself that moment of internal personal reflection so that I can lead with compassion, kindness, thoughtfulness. Those things are important to me, especially when I understand how reactive I was in my earlier teenage years and early 20s. It's easy to be reactive. It's easy to pop off and lash out and say something really quick-witted and make someone feel even worse or small. But power and control and growth and the beauty in those things, and allowing yourself to be reflective and compassionate and to stay within your values, my core values, and to lead the way in that charge is so important to me, because it allows other people to shift, to change, to be better. Plant a seed, water a seed, you reap the harvest, right? So just really allowing that, because it's not just about me. It's not just about you. There's a collective, and we are all intertwined in some way, energetically, right? So all of that. Does this mean that I'm a pushover? No. Boundaries help that, stay in balance. But I spend enough energy and years being that rude version of myself, like I said before, that reactive version, that walking trauma response in all truthfulness. So if life allows me more time, I want to be able to balance what I can, my ways of thinking, responding, my ways of loving, of being loved. And I'd like to believe that it shows in what and how I do and how I share it with you all. In the Army, I was an NCO, a non-commissioned officer, and we had our military core values, our soldier core values, and then our values for being a leader, right? Our creed, non-commissioned officer creed. We had our soldier's creed. We had all of these things to kind of help us. But the main thing that we had that was really big for non-commissioned officers was leading the way. Like, NCOs lead the way. We are the ones who go out and show the soldiers what to do by doing it, by embodying it. And I want to share that again, because when we're having the desire to soul to soul connect soul to soul, to have a conversation soul to soul, that's what's happening. We are leading the way. We are becoming vulnerable and brave and truthful and authentic first. You lead the way through your example, through your embodiment of your personal core values. And by leading the charge, being open and honest with them, with what you share and how you share it from your place of empowered truth. You lead the way with sharing authentically. Try it. Watch how you just cleared the way. You cleared the path and invited them in with you to walk beside you. And so they can begin to do something similar for themselves too. That's how you begin connecting and conversing soul to soul. That's truthfully how it is. I want for you to pause and just think about those conversations that you've had with people where it was soul to soul. You felt it. You had the tingles. You had the excitement. You had the feelings, the knowing. One of you started being open and honest first. It may have been you, it may have been them, but the invitation was given, knowingly or not. So I just wanted to share this to help give a different perspective on how you can begin to embody and show up in your life and your business and your creations talking soul to soul and not mind to soul. Not from what you're selling to soul. And as always, you can book a Pick My Brain strategy session at the website, soulpreneurlifellc.com. And we can begin getting really clear on your path, on your core values. Get clear on your path for spiritual and self-actualization so that you can begin to share in this way if you're not already, or refine it. And what that could look like in your soul-guided life, your soul-guided biz. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you. Thank you for being here on this journey with me. Thank you for allowing me to share my experience, my training, my life, my joy, the fun testimonials and things that my clients share. You all are very much a part of this journey with me. And I'm sending each of you a lot of love and appreciation for that. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you never miss an episode. And I will see you all next time.